audio tapes. Jan and I, we had our wedding ceremony on a cassette tape that is now 35 years old, and we listened to it here not too long ago, and it's degraded somewhat. There's some garbled sound in there, and the tape is just not what it was. We've digitized it and at least preserved it now for so that it won't get any worse from now on. But anything audio can be converted to digital, and the same is true of, you know, this is where I've coined a, somebody else maybe has done this already, but I've coined a phrase called the background effect, and this is true for a lot of things in life. That's a picture of my cousin in the 1950s in a parade up in Roseau. They were big on parades, and what the background effect simply says that when we look at old things, whether it's pictures or documents or whatever it is we look at, a lot of the things in the background become more interesting over time. And when we look at these pictures, we look at the Carlson jewelry store in the background, the R&H little shoe store, and we talk about all the storefronts, and you know, Roseau's a small town, trying to recognize who those people are in the background, and you can zoom right in and see their faces close up now with digital technology. That's what I call the background effect, and it becomes a part of your legacy. Here is my mother was a saver, and so I'm fortunate to have at my disposal all kinds of stuff. There's the hospital bill from when I was born, and it's kind of humorous. The overnight rate for a hospital room in 1956 in Roseau, Minnesota was $8. And the care of the infant for 5 days was $2 a day. Now, I think that's only going to get more interesting over time for future generations. There's my report card from 4th grade. Once you get rolling on this stuff, it's really easy to just kind of let your imagination run away from you. You can see that there's 4 red U's there, and that stood for unsatisfactory. I paid a price for that, and so I could talk a long time about all of that, but I won't go into detail. Jan and I were actually high school sweethearts, and we've saved a whole bunch of the letters that we exchanged back and forth. This one I just put up here because it happens to be to the day 10 years before Joanna was born, and it's a letter that Jan sent to me back. She was still in high school, and I was at the University of Minnesota. And that's, you know, a part of our legacy. There's her mother's journal. She wrote extensively when Joanna was born about the experience of becoming a mother, and the book was given to her by a friend of hers. And you know, the reality is that we're trying to downsize in society, and we've got all these artifacts from years back, and the truth is they can't all be saved. You can't keep them all. They're just, I mean, nothing drives me more crazy than to open a closet and see boxes and boxes of stuff that is cluttering up our lives. But today, with the technology, it's so easy. All it takes, this is a digital scanner. Has everybody used one of these, or are you familiar with a digital scanner? I spent $70 on this. All of this was done with this unit right here. It does magnificent work, and once you get rolling, as I say, there's just no end. There's a note that I left on Joanna's nightstand. There's a long whole story about that that Joanna and I have shared, and we've written it down. And there's my property tax statement. We lived in a farmhouse up near Roseau when we first got married. Total taxes due in 1984 for our house, $60 a year. And there's the house. I mean, it was a really nice farmhouse. We really enjoyed living there. Certificates of participation. Here's one, kind of off the wall kind of a thing. Who would ever think that anybody would have any interest in what a driver's license looks like? But you know, 50 or 100 years from now, who knows? That could be of some curiosity to to people down the road. It takes literally seconds to do, and it doesn't take up any room. In fact, here is an external hard drive, and I think this thing is 500 gigs. Sound right, Jeff? I think this thing is 500 gigabytes of memory. Well, you could put, it's 4 times what that laptop computer is. There just is no end to how much of this stuff can be preserved digitally and saved on a device like that. There's a picture of my father, a newspaper article. The paper's getting brittle and old and yellow and delicate, and it tears easy. Now that it's digitized, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Text, you could write War and Peace 100 times over, and it wouldn't take up 1% of the capacity of that hard drive. There's what I wrote to Jan in her yearbook in 1973, and it's all kind of juvenile, but there's the actual handwritten version right out of her yearbook. So there is your only limitation, take it from me, it is kind of fun. And then the real beauty of once everything is digitized, the key is to have a filing convention. I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase, but when you create digital files, my advice is make sure that you have a well thought out filing convention ahead of time, because you don't want to go back and start changing file names. And so it's really a very simple thing. It's just that you want to make sure that you do it ahead of time. I have 4 criteria in every file name. The year that an item was either, if it's a picture, the year it was taken, or the document, the year it was created, who the subjects are, the people that are referenced in that particular item, the location, and then if it's associated with any kind of an activity or an event. So in my personal picture file, I can go into the search box. It's just like Google right on my laptop, and I can type in 1970 Mark fishing on Lake of the Woods, and in a split second, or 197 will get all the pictures for the entire decade of 1970s. And it's just that simple. And it's just so easy to locate what you're looking for that way. And we are here, our business, we offer services. We've got a whole menu of services that we provide to help you with that. With the scanning, if you're not comfortable with using a scanner, we can come right to the house if you'd like, and once you get rolling, all that stuff can be done surprisingly efficiently and quickly.